Evan Cole was lying on a hospital bed, blood dripping from his forehead, when the curtain opened and his past walked in, holding the hands of two 6-year-old boys who looked exactly like him. Maya, the woman who vanished 6 years ago without a trace, stood there with an envelope in her trembling hand, and a truth that would shatter everything he thought he knew. Those boys carried his last name, his face, and a secret that someone had buried with lies and betrayal. What Evan didn't know was that their separation had been engineered by people he trusted, and the DNA results Maya was about to reveal would change 3 lives forever. But could a millionaire contractor and the woman he never stopped loving rebuild what was stolen from them? Or would fear and family pressure tear apart a family that was just beginning to heal? If you're watching this, hit subscribe and tell me where you're from, because this story of second chances and found family will stay with you long after it ends. The metal beam swung loose from the hoist, with a sound Evan would never forget. A sharp screech of cable, then silence for half a second. Just long enough for him to look up. Then it hit. The world tilted sideways. Pain exploded above his right eyebrow, hot and immediate. Evan's knees buckled. He felt the rough concrete under his palms before he realized he'd fallen. "Boss? Boss, you okay?" Voices surrounded him. Hands grabbed his shoulders, steadying him. Evan blinked hard, trying to focus. Everything looked red. He touched his forehead, and his fingers came away, slick with blood. "Get him in the truck," someone shouted. "Hospital now." Evan wanted to argue. He had a crew to manage, permits to file, a schedule to keep. But when he tried to stand, the construction site spun like a carousel. His stomach lurched. "I'm fine," he mumbled, though he clearly wasn't. "You're bleeding all over your shirt, man. You're going." Strong arms helped him into the passenger seat of his own pickup. Miguel, his site foreman, slid behind the wheel. The engine roared to life. "Hospital's 10 minutes," Miguel said, his jaw tight. "Keep pressure on it." Evan pressed a rag someone had shoved into his hand against the cut. The fabric turned warm and wet almost instantly. His head throbbed with each heartbeat. The emergency room smelled like antiseptic and worry. A nurse with kind eyes led Evan to a bed behind a blue curtain. She cleaned the wound with careful hands while asking him questions he barely heard. "You're lucky," she said. "Could have been much worse. Doctor will be in to stitch you up shortly." Evan nodded, wincing. Lucky, right. She left him with gauze pressed to his forehead and instructions not to move around. The curtain swayed slightly in the air conditioning. Beyond it, the ER hummed with activity, phones ringing, machines beeping, footsteps squeaking on linoleum. Evan closed his eyes. His head pounded. The painkillers they'd given him hadn't kicked in yet. He thought about the beam, the moment before impact, how quickly everything could change. Then he heard a voice, a woman's voice, low and urgent, talking to someone at the nurse's station. Something about the tone made him go still, made his chest tighten for reasons that had nothing to do with the accident. He knew that voice. No, it couldn't be. Footsteps approached his curtain, 2 sets of small feet pattering alongside heavier ones. Children. The curtain slid open. Evan's breath caught. Maya stood there, backlit by the fluorescent lights of the hallway. 6 years hadn't changed her much. Same warm brown skin, same careful eyes, same way of holding herself like she was ready for anything. She wore jeans and a simple blue sweater. Her hair was pulled back in a ponytail. But it was the boys that made Evan forget about the cut on his head, forget about the pain, forget how to breathe. 2 identical faces, maybe 6 years old. One boy stood close to Maya's leg, watching Evan with serious dark eyes. The other peered around the room with open curiosity. Both had skin a few shades lighter than Maya's. Both had curly dark hair cut short. Both wore little sneakers with cartoon characters on them. Both looked exactly like Evan had in his childhood photos. "Evan," Maya said softly. He couldn't speak. His mouth opened, but nothing came out. "We need to talk," she continued. Her voice was steady, but her hand trembled slightly where it rested on the quieter boy's shoulder. "Now." The boys looked at each other, then at their mother, then back at Evan. The curious one waved slightly. The serious one just stared. Evan's mind spun faster than it had when the beam hit him. Maya, here, with children, with boys who looked like... No, it wasn't possible. 6 years ago, she'd vanished, left town without a word. He'd tried to find her, tried to call, sent messages that went unanswered. Eventually, he'd heard through mutual friends that she'd moved on, met someone else, wanted nothing to do with him. He'd believed it. He'd forced himself to believe it and move forward. But now she stood in front of him, and those boys. Maya reached into her purse. Her movements were deliberate, controlled. She pulled out a white envelope, the kind that looked official, important. She held it out to him. "This came back yesterday," Maya said. Her voice cracked slightly on the last word. "I should have done it sooner. I should have found you sooner, but—" She trailed off, pressing her lips together. The serious boy leaned harder against her leg. The other one tugged on her hand, whispering something Evan couldn't hear. "It's okay, baby," Maya murmured to the child. "Give Mama one more minute." Evan's hand shook as he took the envelope. It was sealed. The return address showed a laboratory name he recognized from TV commercials. DNA testing. His heart hammered against his ribs. "Open it," Maya said quietly. Evan's fingers fumbled with the seal. The paper inside crinkled as he unfolded it. Medical terminology. Charts. Numbers. He scanned down the page, his eyes blurring slightly. Then he saw the names. Test Subject A, Evan Michael Cole. Test Subject B, Liam Robert Cole. Test Subject C, Noah James Cole. Cole. They had his last name. Both of them. His eyes jumped to the conclusion at the bottom of the page. Probability of paternity, 99.9%. The paper slipped from his fingers. It drifted to the hospital bed like a falling leaf. Evan looked up at Maya, then at the boys, then back at Maya. His voice came out hoarse, broken. "They're mine?" Maya's eyes filled with tears, but she didn't let them fall. She nodded once. "Their names are Liam and Noah," she said. "They're 6. They're in 1st grade. They love dinosaurs and building blocks and stories before bed." She took a shaky breath. "And yes, Evan, they're yours. They've always been yours." The room tilted again, but not from the head injury. Evan gripped the edge of the bed to steady himself. 6 years. He'd missed 6 years. "I used your last name from the start," Maya continued, her voice barely above a whisper now. "I always planned to tell you. I tried, but when I came to your office that day, your secretary said you'd moved on, that you were seeing someone seriously, that I should leave you alone." Evan's head snapped up. "What? I know that now," Maya said, cutting him off gently. "I know, but back then, I was pregnant and scared and alone, and I thought you didn't want to know, so I left." The curious boy, Noah, Evan's mind supplied, tugged on Maya's hand again. "Mama, is this the hospital man?" Maya's expression softened as she looked down at her son. "This is Noah, Liam, this is Evan. She swallowed hard. "He's your father." Liam, the serious one, frowned slightly. "Our dad?" "Yes, baby." Noah's eyes went wide. "The one in the picture?" "Yes." Evan's throat closed up. There was a picture. They knew about him. At least a little, Maya had told them. "Can I—" Evan's voice cracked. He cleared his throat and tried again. "Can I talk to them? Please?" Maya studied his face for a long moment. Whatever she saw there must have satisfied her because she nodded slowly. "You want to say hi to Evan?" she asked the boys. Noah nodded enthusiastically. Liam hesitated, then nodded too, less certain. Evan shifted carefully on the bed, his head still throbbing. He lowered himself to one knee on the floor, ignoring the wave of dizziness that swept over him. He needed to be at their level, needed to see them properly. "Hi," he said, his voice rough with emotion. "I'm Evan." "Hi," Noah said immediately, bouncing slightly on his toes. "I'm Noah James Cole. I'm 6 3/4." Despite everything, Evan felt his mouth twitch into almost a smile. "That's a very important 3/4. "Uh-huh." Noah nodded seriously. "It's almost 7. Evan looked at the other boy. "And you're Liam." Liam nodded but didn't speak. He studied Evan with those careful, quiet eyes, so much like Maya's. "It's really nice to meet you both," Evan said. His hands trembled where they rested on his knee. I've wanted to meet you for a long time. I didn't know you existed, but I would have wanted to know. I promise." "You have a boo-boo," Noah observed, pointing at Evan's bandaged forehead. "I do. Something fell at work and bumped my head." "Did you cry?" "A little." Noah nodded like this was perfectly reasonable. "I cry when I get boo-boos too. Mama says it's okay to cry." "Your mama's right." Liam finally spoke, his voice softer than his brother's. "Are you really our dad?" The question hit Evan square in the chest. He looked up at Maya, who gave him a small, encouraging nod. "Yes," Evan said, meeting Liam's gaze directly. "I really am. Where were you? God, how did you explain this to a 6-year-old? How did you explain mistakes and miscommunication and 6 lost years?" "I didn't know about you," Evan said simply. "But now I do, and I'm here now." Liam considered this silently. Evan could practically see the wheels turning in the boy's head, Before anyone could say more, the curtain moved again. The doctor stepped in, clipboard in hand, and stopped short when he saw the scene. "Oh, I can come back." "No," Maya said quickly. "We were just—" She trailed off, clearly unsure how to explain. "I'm Dr. Anders. I'm here to check on that laceration." The doctor looked between Evan and Maya with polite curiosity. "Family?" "Yes," Evan said at the same time Maya said, "It's complicated." Dr. Anders smiled slightly. "Aren't they all?" "Well, Mr. Cole, I need to put in a few stitches. It'll take about 15 minutes. You're welcome to wait in the family area," he added to Maya. Maya nodded. "We'll be outside." She looked at the boys. "Come on, sweethearts, let's let the doctor work." "Bye," Noah said, waving. Liam looked at Evan one more time, something uncertain in his expression, before following his mother out. The curtain fell closed behind them. Dr. Anders began prepping supplies, talking Evan through the procedure, but Evan barely heard him. His mind was still reeling. Sons. He had sons. Twin boys named Liam and Noah, who carried his name and his features, and apparently knew about him from a picture. The needle pierced his skin. Evan didn't even flinch. When Dr. Anders finally finished, Evan had 3 neat stitches above his eyebrow and a white bandage taped carefully over them. The doctor gave him aftercare instructions that Evan nodded along to without really processing. "You'll want to rest for the remainder of today," Dr. Anders said. "No driving for at least a few hours. The local anesthetic will wear off soon, so take the ibuprofen as directed. Change the dressing tomorrow." "Okay. Someone picking you up?" Evan thought of Miguel, who'd driven him here and was probably still in the waiting room. Then he thought of Maya and the boys just outside this curtain. "Yes," Evan said. "Someone's here." Dr. Anders signed off on the discharge papers and left. Evan sat on the edge of the bed for a moment, his heart racing. Then he stood carefully, making sure he wasn't too dizzy, and pulled back the curtain. Maya sat in a plastic chair against the wall. The boys were on the floor beside her with coloring books spread across their laps. Someone, probably a kind nurse, had given them the books and a box of crayons. Maya looked up when Evan appeared. Their eyes met. "All done?" she asked. "Yeah, 3 stitches. That's not too bad. Could have been worse." Evan hesitated. I told Miguel to head back to the site. I'm not supposed to drive for a bit anyway." Maya nodded slowly. She looked at the boys, then back at Evan. "We should probably talk, really talk. I want that. I want to understand what happened. I'll try to explain." She stood, smoothing down her jeans. "Boys, put the crayons back in the box, please." "Do we have to?" Noah asked. "Yes, baby. We're going to get some lunch." "Can Evan come?" Noah asked. So naturally it made Evan's chest ache. Maya's gaze flicked to Evan, searching his face. He tried to keep his expression open, hopeful but not pushy. "Would you like to join us?" she asked carefully. "The cafeteria here isn't fancy, but—" "I'd like that," Evan said quickly. "Very much." They gathered the coloring supplies and walked together through the hospital corridors. Evan stayed a half step behind, watching the boys walk on either side of their mother. Noah chatted about something he'd colored. Liam stayed quiet, occasionally glancing back at Evan with those watchful eyes. The cafeteria was half empty, the lunch rush having ended an hour ago. They found a table by the windows. Maya helped the boys pick out food, chicken nuggets for both, apple slices, milk. Evan grabbed a sandwich he wasn't sure he could eat, his stomach too twisted up with nerves. When they sat down, Noah immediately started eating, but Liam pushed his food around his plate, watching Evan. "So," Noah said between bites, "do you really build big things?" Evan blinked. "I do. I'm a contractor. I build houses mostly, sometimes stores or office buildings. With hammers and stuff? Hammers, saws, drills. Lots of tools." "Cool," Noah breathed. "It is pretty cool," Evan agreed, feeling a small smile form despite everything. Maya cut up an apple slice for Liam, even though he was probably old enough to do it himself. The gesture was so maternal, so natural, that it made Evan's heart squeeze. "You said you tried to find me," Evan said quietly, looking at Maya. "When?" Maya's hands stilled. She set down the plastic knife. "When I found out I was pregnant. About 2 months after that last weekend we spent together." Evan remembered that weekend, the lake house rental, just the 2 of them, talking about maybe getting more serious, maybe trying for something real instead of casual. Then she'd vanished. "I came to your office," Maya continued, her voice low so the boys wouldn't catch every word. "Your secretary, Jennifer I think her name was, she met me at the front desk. I told her I needed to speak with you, that it was personal and important." Evan's jaw clenched. He remembered Jennifer. She'd worked for him for about a year before moving to a different company. She told me you'd asked not to be disturbed, that you were seeing someone. That you'd said if I showed up, to please send me away because you'd moved on and wanted me to do the same. Maya's voice shook slightly. She was so certain, so definite, and I was so scared and confused, so I believed her. I left. Jesus. Evan ran a hand through his hair, forgetting about the stitches until his fingers brushed the bandage. He winced. Maya, I never said that. I never even saw Jennifer that day. I was on a job site all morning. I had no idea you came by. I know. Maya met his eyes. I figured that out eventually, but by then months had passed. I was showing. I'd moved in with my cousin Tessa. I'd started building a life without you, and she swallowed hard. I was angry. At you, at Jennifer, at myself, for not trying harder. So I stayed away. You gave them my last name, Evan said, looking at the boys. Maya followed his gaze. Both boys were absorbed in their food now, Noah making his chicken nuggets swim through ketchup, while Liam carefully ate one piece at a time. I did, Maya said, because they deserve to know who their father is. Even if you weren't there, they had the right to your name, and I always thought, someday I'd find the courage to try again. What changed? Evan asked. Why now? Maya was quiet for a moment. Liam asked me last month why his friend Owen gets to see his dad every weekend, but he never sees his. I didn't have a good answer. I had excuses, but not a good answer. So I decided to do the DNA test, get official proof, and find you. She looked down at her hands. I didn't expect to find you in a hospital ER. I didn't expect any of this today, Evan admitted. Noah suddenly looked up from his plate. Are you going to be our dad now? The question hung in the air. Maya tensed. Evan's heart hammered. I'd like to be, Evan said carefully. If that's okay with you guys and your mom. What does that mean? Liam asked, speaking up for the first time since they'd sat down. Being a dad? Evan thought about how to answer. It means I want to spend time with you, get to know you, be there for you, help your mom take care of you, be someone you can count on. Like Uncle Marcus? Noah asked. Who's Uncle Marcus? Evan asked. Tessa's boyfriend, Maya explained. He's been around a lot the past year. He's good with the kids. Something uncomfortable twisted in Evan's gut. Not quite jealousy, more like regret for all the time someone else had been there while he hadn't. But he pushed it aside. Then yes, Evan said. Like Uncle Marcus, but I'd be your actual dad. Liam chewed this over, literally and figuratively, taking a bite of chicken. Okay? He finally said. Just like that. Okay. Noah grinned. Cool. Can you teach us to build stuff? If your mom says it's all right, yes. Both boys looked at Maya expectantly. She looked overwhelmed, her eyes bright with unshed tears. We'll figure it out, she said softly. One step at a time. They finished lunch in a strange sort of peace. The boys asked more questions. What kind of truck did Evan drive? Did he have any pets? Did he like pizza? And Evan answered each one, trying to memorize their voices and mannerisms. The way Noah's nose crinkled when he laughed, the way Liam tilted his head when he was thinking. When their trays were empty, they walked toward the parking lot. The afternoon sun was bright after the artificial hospital lights. Maya's car was parked near the entrance, a sensible sedan with car seats in the back. Evan's truck was somewhere in the lot too, brought over by Miguel, but he wasn't supposed to drive yet anyway. I can call a cab, he started to say. Where do you live? Maya asked. About 15 minutes from here, west side of town. Maya bit her lip, considering. We live closer, 10 minutes east. She paused. Would you like to see where they live? Just for a little while. I think we could all use some time to process this without a hospital cafeteria audience. Evan's throat went tight. Are you sure? No, Maya said honestly. But I think it's the right thing to do. You've missed 6 years. You don't need to miss another afternoon. They drove in Maya's car. Evan sat in the passenger seat, hyper-aware of the boys behind him. Noah kept up a running commentary about everything they passed. The grocery store where Mama got cookies, the park where they played, the school where they had PE. Liam was quieter, but occasionally chimed in with corrections or additions. Maya's house was a small, neat bungalow with a blue front door and a tidy yard. Toys dotted the lawn, a sandbox, a small slide, a wagon. Signs of childhood everywhere. Home sweet home, Maya said, pulling into the driveway. It's not much, but it's perfect, Evan said, and meant it. Inside, the house smelled like vanilla and laundry detergent. The living room had a worn but comfortable-looking couch, a TV, and approximately 1,000,000 toys organized in colorful bins. Photos covered the walls, mostly of the boys at various ages, but also family pictures with people Evan didn't recognize. Maya's cousin Tessa appeared in several of them. "You can sit if you want," Maya offered, gesturing to the couch. "I'm going to make coffee. Boys, show Evan your room if you want to." "Come on!" Noah grabbed Evan's hand with zero hesitation. Liam followed more slowly as Noah dragged Evan down the short hallway. Their room was painted light green with 2 small beds, dinosaur sheets, and more toys. Drawings covered one wall, stuck up with tape. "That's my bed," Noah said, pointing to the one with rumpled covers. "Liam's is neater." "I like things organized," Liam said quietly. "Nothing wrong with that," Evan said. He looked at the drawings on the wall. Some were typical kid stuff: houses, suns with faces, stick figures. Others showed more detail. "Did you guys draw all these?" I like drawing," Liam said. "He's really good," Noah added. "I like building better, like with blocks." They showed him their toys, their books, their treasures. Evan sat on the floor between their beds and listened to them talk, his heart expanding and breaking and healing all at once. These were his sons, his boys. 6 years of memories he'd never get back, but maybe, a lifetime ahead. Maya appeared in the doorway with 2 mugs. "Coffee's ready. We're showing Dad our stuff," Noah said casually. "Dad." Evan's eyes flew to Maya's. She looked stunned too, but not upset, just emotional. "I see that," she said softly. "Why don't you two play for a bit while Evan and I talk?" The boys agreed easily, already pulling out bins of blocks. Evan followed Maya back to the living room. They sat on the couch with careful space between them. The coffee was hot and strong, exactly what Evan needed. For a moment, neither spoke. "I'm sorry," they both said at the same time. Evan huffed a laugh. Maya smiled despite the tears in her eyes. "You first," Evan said. Maya set down her mug. "I'm sorry I didn't try harder to find you. I'm sorry I believed Jennifer without question. I'm sorry you missed so much. I'm sorry I didn't chase after you," Evan countered. "I'm sorry I believed my friends when they said you'd moved on instead of trusting my gut. I'm sorry I wasn't there. We both got lied to," Maya said quietly. "By Jennifer, by whoever told you I'd moved on. Someone wanted us apart. Doesn't matter now." Evan meant it. "What matters is where we go from here. Where do you want to go?" Evan looked toward the hallway where the sound of building blocks clicking together drifted out. "I want to be their dad. I want to be in their lives. Daily, if you'll let me. I want to make up for lost time." "And us?" Maya asked, her voice barely above a whisper. "What about us?" Evan turned to face her fully. "I don't know yet. 6 years is a long time. We're different people now. But Maya, I never stopped caring about you. Not really. And now there's Liam and Noah, and they're everything." His voice cracked. "I won't mess this up, I swear I won't." Maya's tears finally spilled over. "I'm scared." "Me too. What if we try this and it doesn't work? What if the boys get attached and then we figure it out?" Evan interrupted gently. "But I'm not going anywhere. Whether things work out between you and me or not, those boys are my sons. I'm going to be there for them. I promise you that." Maya wiped her eyes. Okay, we try, slowly, carefully, for them." Evan nodded, relief washing over him. "For them." The afternoon sun slanted through the windows, painting everything gold. From the bedroom, Noah's laugh rang out, followed by Liam's quieter chuckle. The sound was the most beautiful thing Evan had ever heard. "Thank you," he said to Maya, "for giving them my name, for telling them about me, for coming to the hospital today. I should have come sooner. You came when you were ready. That's what matters." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, drinking coffee and listening to the boys play. Eventually, late afternoon turned to early evening. The light outside began to fade toward gold and amber. "I should probably go soon," Evan said reluctantly. "Let you guys have dinner, bedtime routine." Maya nodded but didn't move to show him out. Would you want to come back tomorrow?" "Really? The boys get out of school at 3. We usually go to the park after." She met his eyes. "You could come if you want." "I want," Evan said immediately. "Tell me where and when." They exchanged phone numbers, a surreal moment, putting Maya's new number in his phone after 6 years of silence. Then Evan went to say goodbye to the boys. They were building a tower that reached past their knees, working together with the intense focus only children could manage. "Hey guys," Evan said from the doorway, "I have to head home now." "Already?" Noah's face fell. Yeah, but I'll see you again soon. Your mom invited me to the park tomorrow after school. Really? Noah perked up immediately. Liam looked at Evan, then at the floor, then back at Evan. Okay, he said quietly. Then, almost too soft to hear, bye, Dad. The word hit Evan like a freight train. His vision blurred. He blinked hard. Bye, buddy, he managed. Bye, Noah. Bye, Dad, Noah said cheerfully. Maya walked Evan to the door. They stood on the porch in the fading light, the evening air cool and fresh. Thank you for today, Evan said. For all of it. I know this was probably terrifying. It was, Maya admitted. It still is. But it was also right. They needed to meet you. I needed to meet them. Evan paused. I'll see you tomorrow? Tomorrow, Maya confirmed. He walked to his truck. Miguel had left the keys under the mat as planned. As he pulled away from the curb, Evan looked in the rearview mirror. Maya stood on the porch watching him go, one hand raised in a small wave. Evan drove home in a daze. His head throbbed where the stitches pulled, but he barely noticed. His mind was full of twin boys with his eyes and Maya's smile, full of 6 years of missed moments and the possibility of tomorrow. When he got to his empty house, the modern construction he'd built himself, all clean lines and expensive appliances, it felt hollow. He'd always been proud of this place. Now it just felt lonely. Evan sat on his couch in the darkness and pulled out his phone. He stared at Maya's name in his contacts. Then, before he could second-guess himself, he typed a message. I want to be in their lives. Please let me earn it. He hit send and set the phone down. It buzzed almost immediately. Maya's response was simple. Tomorrow, 3:30, Oakwood Park. We'll figure this out together. Evan read the message 3 times. Then he saved it, just in case this whole day had been a dream and he needed proof it was real. But it was real. He had sons, twin boys named Liam and Noah, and tomorrow he'd see them again. For the first time in 6 years, Evan Cole felt like his life had a purpose beyond work and profit margins. Like maybe, just maybe, he'd been given a second chance at something that truly mattered. He just had to make sure he didn't waste it. Evan barely slept that night. Every time he closed his eyes, he saw those 2 small faces. Liam's careful, watchful expression, Noah's easy grin, the way they'd both said Dad so naturally, like the word had been waiting 6 years to be spoken. At 5 in the morning, he gave up on sleep entirely. He showered, carefully avoiding the stitches, and made coffee he didn't really taste. The house felt too quiet, too empty. Had it always been this way? By 7, he was at his workshop, a large garage behind his house where he kept his woodworking equipment. He couldn't go to the construction site yet, doctor's orders, but he could stay busy here. He pulled out 2 small blocks of pine and got to work. 2 hours later, he had 2 simple keychains, each carved into the shape of a small truck. Nothing fancy, but smooth and solid. He added key rings and stood back to examine them. Would the boys like them? Was it too soon for gifts? He didn't want to seem like he was trying to buy their affection, but they weren't expensive. Just something small, something to show he'd thought about them. Evan pocketed the keychains and checked his phone. 10:17 a.m., still hours before he'd see them. He texted Maya, "Is it okay if I meet you at their school? I'd like to walk them out with you if that's all right." The response came 5 minutes later. "That's fine. Oakwood Elementary. I usually park in the west lot. School lets out at 3:15. Evan's heart kicked up. "I'll be there, thank you." He spent the rest of the morning trying to work, trying to focus on anything besides the clock. Miguel called to check on him and update him about the site. Everything was running smoothly. The crew knew what to do. Evan could take a few days to recover. Evan thanked him and hung up, then immediately went back to watching the time. At 2:45, he couldn't wait any longer. He drove to Oakwood Elementary, arriving embarrassingly early. The parking lot was nearly empty. He sat in his truck and waited, nerves building with each passing minute. Other parents started arriving around 3, minivans and sedans, mothers and fathers with tired workday faces. Evan watched them all, wondering if this would become his routine too. School pickup, afternoon parks, dinner and homework and bedtime stories. He wanted it. God, he wanted it so much it hurt. At 3:10, he spotted Maya's car pulling into the lot. Evan got out of his truck and walked over. Maya saw him and offered a small, tentative smile. "You're early," she said. "Couldn't help it." Evan shifted his weight. "Is this okay, me being here?" "It's okay," Maya said, and she sounded like she meant it. "The boys will be excited." They walked together toward the school entrance where parents clustered, waiting for the doors to open. A few people glanced at them curiously. Maya seemed to notice but didn't react. The bell rang. Seconds later, the doors burst open and children streamed out like water from a broken dam. Loud voices, laughter, the thunder of small feet. Evan scanned the crowd anxiously. Then he saw them. Liam and Noah walked out side by side, both wearing backpacks nearly as big as they were. Noah spotted Maya first and waved enthusiastically. Then he saw Evan. His whole face lit up. "Dad!" Noah shouted, breaking into a run. Several parents turned to look. Evan barely noticed. He knelt down just as Noah crashed into him, wrapping small arms around his neck. "You came," Noah said. "I said I would," Evan replied, his voice thick. Liam approached more slowly, but his eyes were bright. "Hi," he said shyly. "Hi, buddy." Evan held out his other arm. After a pause, Liam stepped into the hug, too. Evan held both his sons, right there in front of Oakwood Elementary, and didn't care who was watching. "How was school?" he asked when they pulled back. "Good," Noah said. "We had art today. I painted a fire truck. I'd love to see it. It's in my backpack." Noah immediately started trying to pull the bag off while still walking. "Wait until we get to the car," Maya said with a mother's practiced patience. She caught Evan's eye and something warm passed between them. In the parking lot, Noah showed off his painting. Lots of red, some yellow, wheels that were more oval than round. It was perfect. "This is really good," Evan said honestly. "You can have it if you want," Noah offered. Evan's throat tightened. "Really?" "Uh-huh. You can put it on your fridge." "I will. Thank you." Liam had been quiet, but now he spoke up. "I have something too." He pulled out a drawing of a house with a tree beside it. The details were impressive for a 6-year-old. Individual leaves on the tree, windows with curtains, even a small pathway to the door. "Liam, this is amazing," Evan said, studying it carefully. "You're really talented." Liam's cheeks flushed with pleasure. "It's our house." "I recognize it," Evan said. "You got it exactly right." Maya watched this exchange with an expression Evan couldn't quite read. Sad maybe, but also hopeful, like she was watching something heal in real time. "So," she said, "the park?" "The park!" both boys shouted in agreement. They decided to take both vehicles since Evan would need his truck to get home later. The drive to Oakwood Park took only 5 minutes. It was a nice park. Playground equipment, open grass, a few benches under shade trees. The boys took off running the moment they got out of the car. Maya called after them to stay where she could see them, and they altered course toward the swing set, still moving at full speed. Evan and Maya followed at a more reasonable pace. "They have a lot of energy after sitting in class all day," Maya explained. "I remember that feeling," Evan said. "My mom used to say I bounced off the walls after school. Do you see your parents much?" Evan hesitated. "My dad passed away 5 years ago. Heart attack. My mom lives about an hour north. She's going to lose her mind when she finds out about the boys. In a good way. In a very good way. She's been bugging me about grandkids for years." Evan paused. "When do you think I should tell her?" Maya considered this. "Soon, probably. But maybe give it a few more days. Let us all adjust first." "That makes sense." Evan watched Noah climb onto a swing. "Do they know about my family? Did you tell them anything? Just basics. That you were someone I cared about. That we lost touch. That you didn't know about them." Maya's voice was careful. "I tried not to paint you as the bad guy. Even when I was angry, I knew it wasn't entirely your fault." "That's generous." "It's honest." Maya moved toward the swings as Noah shouted for her to watch. "I'm watching, baby." Noah pumped his legs, trying to swing higher. Liam sat on the swing next to him, moving more gently. "Push me," Noah called. Evan looked at Maya, asking silent permission. She nodded. He walked behind Noah's swing and gave it a careful push. Not too hard, just enough to send the boy a little higher. Noah shrieked with delight. "Higher!" "Not too high," Maya warned. Evan pushed again, then moved to Liam's swing. "You want to push too?" Liam nodded. Evan pushed him with the same careful pressure. Liam didn't shriek like his brother, but Evan saw the smile spread across his face. For 20 minutes they played. Evan pushed swings, helped the boys across the monkey bars, caught them at the bottom of the slide. Other families were at the park too, and Evan noticed a few curious glances. A woman he vaguely recognized, maybe from around town, waved at Maya. Maya waved back but didn't go over to chat. Eventually the boys' energy started to flag. They sprawled on the grass, breathing hard, faces flushed. "Snack time," Maya announced, pulling juice boxes and granola bars from her bag. They sat in a loose circle on the grass. The late afternoon sun slanted through the trees, making patterns on the ground. Evan accepted a granola bar, even though he wasn't hungry. It felt good to be part of this routine, this normal, everyday moment. "So what do you guys usually do after the park?" Evan asked. "Go home, have dinner, do homework if there's any, then play until bath time," Noah recited like he was reading a schedule. "Sounds like a good routine." "It's okay," Noah said with a shrug. "Except homework. Homework's boring." "What kind of homework do first graders get?" "Reading, mostly," Liam said quietly. "And sometimes we have to write our numbers. Are you guys good at reading?" "I'm really good," Noah said with confidence. "Liam's better, though. I just practice more," Liam said almost apologetically. "Nothing wrong with practicing," Evan said. "That's how you get good at things." Maya checked her phone. "We should probably head back soon. I need to start dinner." The boys groaned but didn't argue. They were tired anyway, their burst of energy spent. As they walked back to the cars, Noah reached up and took Evan's hand without asking. The small fingers wrapped around his palm like it was the most natural thing in the world. Evan's chest went tight. He glanced at Maya, who'd noticed. Her eyes were shiny. "Can Evan come for dinner?" Noah asked his mother. "Noah," Maya started. "Please," Liam added, his voice soft but hopeful. Maya looked at Evan. He tried to keep his expression neutral, not pressuring, but he knew the hope must have shown through anyway. "Okay," Maya said finally, "but simple dinner. Just spaghetti or something." "I love spaghetti," Evan said. "Me too." Noah bounced on his toes. They drove back to Maya's house in convoy. By the time they arrived, the sun was lower in the sky, painting everything in shades of orange and pink. Inside, Maya started pulling out pots and ingredients while the boys dumped their backpacks and ran to their room. Evan stood in the kitchen, feeling awkward and out of place despite the invitation. "Can I help?" he asked. "You can set the table if you want. Plates are up there." Maya pointed to a cabinet. 4 plates. 4. A family number. Evan found the plates, mismatched but clean, and set them on the small dining table. He added forks, napkins, cups. The domesticity of it settled something in his chest. Maya worked efficiently, boiling water, heating sauce, pulling garlic bread from the freezer. Evan watched her move around her kitchen with the ease of someone who'd done this 1,000 times. "You're staring," Maya said without turning around. "Sorry, I'm trying to imagine the last 6 years. What it's been like for you." Maya's hand stilled on the wooden spoon. "Hard. Lonely sometimes, even with Tessa helping. Rewarding. Exhausting." She turned to face him. "Being a single parent is no joke, Evan. There were nights I cried myself to sleep because I didn't know how I'd pay for daycare. Mornings I was so tired I could barely function. Moments I resented you for not being there, even though it wasn't your fault." "I'm sorry," Evan said quietly. "I know you are, and I'm not telling you this to make you feel guilty. I'm telling you so you understand. This isn't going to be easy, co-parenting or whatever we're doing. The boys have a routine, they have needs and feelings and bad days. You can't just be the fun weekend dad who shows up for the good parts." "I don't want to be," Evan said firmly. "I want to be there for all of it. The hard parts too. I want to earn this, Maya. I want to prove I'm not going anywhere." Maya held his gaze for a long moment. Then she nodded. "Okay, we'll see." The boys emerged from their room as dinner was ready. They ate together at the small table, the boys chattering about school and friends and a pet hamster in their classroom named Mr. Whiskers. Evan asked questions, genuinely interested in every detail. He learned that Liam's favorite subject was art, and Noah's was recess. That they both loved dinosaurs, but disagreed on which one was coolest. That they had a friend named Tyler who could burp the alphabet. Maya watched Evan with the boys, her expression softening gradually as the meal went on. After dinner, the boys showed Evan their drawings, dozens of them covering everything from space aliens to family portraits. Evan noticed that many of the family drawings had 3 people, Mama and 2 boys. His absence was a blank space on the page. "I can draw you now," Liam said suddenly as if reading Evan's mind. "Now that you're here." "I'd like that," Evan said, his voice rough. As the evening wore on, Evan knew he should leave. Give them space. Let them have their normal routine. But when he stood to go, Noah grabbed his arm. "Do you have to? Your mom's been nice enough to let me stay this long. I don't want to overstay my welcome." "You're not," Noah insisted, looking at Maya for support. "Right, Mama?" Maya bit her lip. "It's getting close to bath time. Can Dad read us a story after bath?" Liam asked, speaking up bravely. "Just one?" Maya's eyes widened slightly at the request. She looked at Evan, searching his face. If your mum says yes, I'd love to, Evan said carefully. Maya took a breath. Okay, one story, but then Evan needs to go home so you can sleep. The boys cheered. Bath time was Maya's domain. She shooed Evan to the living room while she supervised. He sat on the couch and listened to the sounds of splashing and laughter, domestic and real. This was what he'd missed. Not just the big moments, but these small, ordinary ones that made up a life. 20 minutes later, the boys emerged in dinosaur pajamas, hair damp and faces clean. They smelled like children's shampoo and toothpaste. Story time, Noah announced. They led Evan to their room and climbed into their beds. Maya leaned against the doorframe, watching. Evan sat on the floor between the two beds, feeling the weight of the moment. Pick a book, he said. They chose a story about a bear who couldn't sleep. Evan read it slowly, doing different voices for the characters. Both boys listened with rapt attention. When he finished, Noah immediately asked for another one. That was the deal, Maya said gently. One story. Oh, Mama. One story, she repeated, but her voice was kind. Evan will come back. Promise? Liam asked, looking at Evan with those serious eyes. I promise, Evan said. I'm not going anywhere. Maya tucked them in, kissing each forehead. Good night, my loves. Night, Mama. Night, Dad, Noah said sleepily. Good night, Liam echoed. Evan's heart stumbled over itself. Good night, guys. He followed Maya out of the room, pulling the door mostly closed behind him. In the living room, they stood facing each other in the dim lamplight. Thank you, Evan said, for today. For letting me in. They're happy, Maya said softly. I haven't seen them this happy in a long time. What about you? Maya hugged herself, a protective gesture. I'm cautiously hopeful and terrified, both at the same time. That's fair. Evan reached into his pocket and pulled out the 2 wooden keychains. I made these this morning. I wasn't sure if I should give them to the boys or not. Didn't want to seem like I was trying too hard. Maya took one of the keychains, running her thumb over the smooth wood. You made these? Yeah, it's what I do when I need to think. Work with my hands. They're beautiful. Simple but perfect. She handed it back. Give them to the boys tomorrow. They'll love them. Tomorrow? You're coming back tomorrow, aren't you? Maya asked, a slight challenge in her voice. If you'll let me, yes. The boys get out of school at 3:15, Maya said. Same as today. Evan smiled. I'll be there. At the door they paused. The air between them felt charged with all the things unsaid. History and possibility tangled together. This is weird, right? Maya said suddenly. All of this? So weird, Evan agreed. But also, right? Yeah, also right. Maya's lips curved into a small smile. Get some rest. Change that bandage tomorrow. Yes, ma'am. And Evan? She waited until he met her eyes. Thank you for not giving up today. For staying. For trying. Thank you for letting me. He took a breath. I meant what I said in that text. I want to earn this, all of it. So far you're doing okay, Maya said quietly. Evan drove home feeling lighter than he had in years. Maybe ever. The house still felt empty when he walked in, but now it felt temporary, like this wasn't where he belonged anymore. He texted Maya before bed. Thank you for today. Sleep well. Her response came quickly. You too. The boys are already asking when you're coming back. Tell them tomorrow. Always tomorrow. That simple emoji made Evan grin like an idiot. He plugged in his phone, changed the bandage on his forehead like Maya had reminded him, and climbed into bed. Sleep came easier tonight. And for the first time in 6 years, Evan Cole dreamed about the future instead of the past. The next week unfolded in a pattern that quickly became routine. Evan met them at school every afternoon. They went to the park or sometimes to the library or just back to Maya's house. He stayed for dinner more nights than not. He read bedtime stories. He helped with homework, even though first-grade homework was mostly just practicing letters and numbers. The boys took to calling him Dad without hesitation. At school pickup, Noah would run to him shouting, Dad, loud enough for everyone to hear. Teachers started assuming Evan was a regular fixture. A few asked politely about the family situation, and Maya kept her answers simple. He's their father. He's been away, but he's back now. Nobody pressed for more details. Evan's mother called on day 5, and he decided it was time. He drove up to her place one evening after work and told her everything. She cried, then laughed, then cried again. She demanded pictures, which Evan had plenty of. Then she demanded to meet them. Soon, Mom. Just give us a little more time to adjust. I've missed 6 years, Karen said, her voice breaking. I'm their grandmother. I know. And you'll get to meet them. Just let me do this right. She'd agreed reluctantly. On day 8, Maya invited him to bring the boys to his workshop. He'd mentioned woodworking several times and they'd been begging to see it. Maya came too, supervising carefully. Evan showed them around the space, explaining each tool, letting them touch smooth wood and smell fresh sawdust. Then he helped them build a small birdhouse. Simple, just a box with a slanted roof and a round hole for the door. Noah got paint all over himself and Evan's jeans. They laughed until their sides hurt, while Maya took pictures on her phone. Liam focused intensely on getting his paintbrush strokes even. When he finished, he looked up at Evan with pride. "Did I do good?" "You did great, buddy. Both of you." As Maya washed paintbrushes in the utility sink, Evan watched her. She'd relaxed so much over the past week. The guardedness had softened. She smiled more, laughed easier. She caught him staring and raised an eyebrow. "What?" "Nothing. Just, it's nice seeing you like this." "Like what?" "Happy." Maya's expression grew serious. "I am happy." Cautiously, but yes. She dried her hands on a towel. "The boys are happy too. That's what matters most. Can I ask you something?" "Sure. When you left 6 years ago after Jennifer turned you away, what made you stay away? Why not try again?" Maya was quiet for a moment, watching the boys examine their painted birdhouse. "Pride, mostly. Fear. I convinced myself that if you really wanted to find me, you would have. That maybe it was easier for both of us if I just moved on, built a life without you." She turned to face him. "I was young and scared and stupid. I made the wrong call. And by the time I realized it, so much time had passed that reaching out felt impossible. I looked for you," Evan said softly, "for months. But you'd moved, changed your number. All our mutual friends said you wanted space. I thought respecting that was the right thing to do." "We were both lied to," Maya said. "Jennifer, whoever told you I'd moved on. Someone wanted us apart. Do you know who?" Maya shook her head. "I have suspicions. Jennifer worked for your company, so maybe she had her own reasons. Or maybe someone else fed her false information. It doesn't matter now, doesn't it?" "What would change if we knew?" Maya asked. "Would it give us back 6 years? Would it erase the pain?" "No. So I choose to let it go and focus on what's ahead of us instead." Evan admired that about her, the way she could forgive without forgetting, move forward without dwelling. It was a strength he wasn't sure he possessed. "You're right," he said. "Forward, not back." Maya smiled. Forward. That evening, after they'd dropped the boys at home and Evan had said his goodnights, Maya walked him to his truck like she'd been doing all week. "Tomorrow's Saturday," she said. "The boys usually sleep in a bit, then we do something fun. Park, library, sometimes a movie if I can afford it. Can I come?" Evan asked. "Actually, I was thinking—" Maya hesitated. "Maybe you could take them for a few hours? Let me have a morning to myself? Tess has been bugging me to get coffee with her and I haven't had alone time in weeks." Evan's heart jumped. "You trust me with them? Alone?" "Yes," Maya said simply. "You're their father, and you've been here every day. I trust you." "I'd love that, thank you. Pick them up at 9, have them back by 1, that gives me 4 hours. 9 to 1, I'll be here." Maya's hand brushed his arm, brief and warm. "Good night, Evan." "Good night, Maya." As he drove away, Evan realized something had shifted. They weren't just co-parenting anymore. They were building something that felt bigger than just the boys, something that felt like maybe, just maybe, they were becoming a family. He just hoped they could keep it together long enough to make it real. Saturday morning arrived with clear skies and nervous energy. Evan showed up at Maya's door at exactly 9 o'clock, holding 2 coffees, one for Maya, one for himself. She opened the door in sweatpants and an oversized t-shirt, her hair pulled back in a messy bun. She looked more relaxed than he'd ever seen her. "You're punctual," she said, accepting the coffee. "Didn't want to waste any of your alone time." The boys came running from their room, already dressed and bouncing with excitement. "Where are we going?" Noah asked. "That's a surprise," Evan said. He'd spent last night planning the perfect morning. "But you're going to love it." Maya kissed both boys goodbye, gave Evan a look that said please don't let them get hurt, and shooed them out the door. As they walked to Evan's truck, he glanced back. Maya stood on the porch watching, coffee in hand, looking peaceful. "Okay, guys," Evan said as he buckled them into the booster seats he'd bought yesterday. "First stop, breakfast." He took them to a diner on Main Street that made the best pancakes in town. The boys ordered chocolate chip pancakes with whipped cream. Evan got the same, figuring why not. They ate until they were stuffed, laughing at Noah's whipped cream mustache and Liam's syrup-sticky fingers. Then they drove to the hardware store. "Why are we here?" Liam asked, confused. "Because," Evan said, helping them out of the truck, We're going to build something special today, but we need supplies. He let each boy pick out their own small toolbox. Noah chose red, Liam chose blue. Then they walked the aisles together, Evan explaining what different tools did, letting them touch and examine things under his supervision. They picked out wood, nails, sandpaper, and paint. "What are we building?" Noah asked for the 10th time. "You'll see." Back at Evan's house, the boys' eyes went wide. They'd never been here before. The modern construction, the open floor plan, the big windows. It was different from their cozy bungalow. "Whoa," Noah breathed. "This is your house." "It is. What do you think?" "It's big," Liam said quietly. "Too big for just me," Evan admitted. "Gets lonely sometimes." He led them to the workshop out back. For the next 2 hours, they built. Evan showed them how to measure, how to hold a hammer safely, how to sand wood until it was smooth. They were making toy cars, simple blocks with wheels, but the boys worked on them like they were building actual vehicles. "My wheels are crooked," Noah said, frowning at his car. "That's okay. Crooked wheels have character." "What's character?" "It means your car is unique, special, one of a kind." Noah grinned. "I like character." Liam worked carefully, tongue poking out in concentration. When he finished sanding his car, he held it up to the light, examining it from every angle. "It's perfect, Liam," Evan said. "You think so?" "I know so." They painted the cars, Noah's red with yellow stripes, Liam's blue with white dots. While the paint dried, they sat outside on Evan's back deck, drinking juice boxes and eating the sandwiches Evan had made. "Dad," Liam said, his voice small. "Yeah, buddy? Are you going to stay now? Like forever?" Evan's heart clenched. He set down his sandwich and turned to face both boys. "I'm not going anywhere, I promise. I'm your dad, and dads don't leave." "Some dads do," Noah said matter-of-factly. "Tyler's dad left." "I'm not Tyler's dad. I'm your dad, and I'm staying." "What if Mama gets mad at you?" Liam asked, voicing the fear Evan heard underneath. "Then we'll talk about it and work it out. But even if your mom and I disagree sometimes, I'll still be here for you guys. Always." "That's a promise I'm making right now, and I don't break my promises." Both boys seemed to consider this. Then Noah nodded decisively. "Okay, good." They spent the rest of the morning playing in the yard, the boys running around while their toy cars dried. At 12:30, Evan loaded them back into the truck. They drove through a fast food restaurant for lunch. Chicken nuggets again, the universal kid food, and headed back to Maya's. She was sitting on the porch when they arrived, looking refreshed. Her hair was down and she wore a simple sundress. She smiled when she saw them. "How was it?" she asked, as the boys tumbled out of the truck. "Awesome," Noah said. "We built cars and used real hammers and ate pancakes with whipped cream. And Dad's house is really big," Liam added, "and he has a workshop just for building things." Maya's eyes found Evan's over the boys' heads. "Thank you," she mouthed. "Show me these cars," she said to the boys. They ran to get them from the truck, and Maya walked down to meet Evan. "They had fun," he said. "I can tell. Thank you for this morning. Thank you for trusting me with them." They stood close, closer than they'd been all week. Maya smelled like coconut lotion and coffee. Evan wanted to reach out, to touch her arm, her face, but he held back. "Listen," he said. "Can we talk? Just the two of us? There's something I need to tell you." Maya's expression grew concerned. "Is everything okay?" "Yeah, I found out something this week, about what happened 6 years ago, and I think you should know." "Okay." "The boys can play inside for a bit." They settled the boys in the living room with their new cars and some building blocks. Then Maya led Evan to the small back porch. They sat on the steps, the afternoon sun warm on their faces. "So what did you find out?" Maya asked. Evan took a breath. "I called some old friends this week, people who were around back when you disappeared. I wanted to understand what really happened." He paused. "One of them, James, do you remember him?" Maya nodded. "Your college roommate?" "Yeah." He finally admitted something. 6 years ago, he was the one who told me you'd moved on, that you were seeing someone else." Maya went still. "Why would he do that?" "Because Jennifer, my secretary, was his cousin, and she was interested in me. James thought he was helping by clearing the way for her. He told her to turn you away if you showed up, and told me you'd moved on so I wouldn't go looking." The color drained from Maya's face. "You're telling me your friend and his cousin conspired to keep us apart?" "Yes." Evan's jaw tightened. "When I confronted him about it, he tried to play it off like it was no big deal, like he was doing me a favor. I told him we were done, haven't spoken to him since." Maya stood abruptly, pacing the small porch. 6 years, Evan. We lost 6 years because of them. You missed the boys' births, their first words, their first steps, all of it. I know. And for what? So Jennifer could have a shot at you? Maya's voice rose slightly. That's sick, that's... She stopped, pressing her hands to her face. I'm so angry I could scream. Evan stood and moved closer. I'm angry too. But Maya, screaming at people who aren't here won't change anything. They already stole 6 years from us. I don't want to give them one more second. Maya lowered her hands. Her eyes were bright with tears. How are you so calm about this? I'm not calm. I'm furious. But I'm also grateful. For what? That you came to the hospital when you did. That we found each other again. That I get to know my sons. He took a careful step closer. That I get another chance with you. Maya's breath caught. Evan, I know this is complicated. I know we're taking it slow for the boys' sake. But Maya, I need you to know what I felt for you 6 years ago. It's still there. Maybe even stronger now. Don't, Maya whispered. Don't say things like that. Why not? It's true. Because I'm scared. Her voice broke. I'm terrified that I'm going to let you all the way in, and then something will happen, and you'll leave, and the boys will be devastated, and... Evan closed the distance between them and gently took her hands. I'm not leaving. How many times do I have to say it? Until I believe it. Then I'll keep saying it, every day if I have to. He squeezed her hands gently. I'm here, Maya. I'm all in. For them, yes, but also for you. Maya looked up at him, tears spilling over. This is happening so fast. We lost 6 years. Maybe fast is okay. She laughed through her tears. Maybe. From inside the house they heard the boys playing, their voices rising in some imaginary game. The sound made them both smile. I should go, Evan said reluctantly. Let you have the rest of your day. Or, Maya bit her lip, tomorrow's Sunday. We usually do something fun as a family. Maybe you could come. We could go to the park, have a picnic. Real family time. Evan's heart soared. I'd love that. Good. Come by around noon. I'll pack food. As Evan said goodbye to the boys, Noah asked, Are you coming back tomorrow? I am. We're having a picnic. Yes. Both boys cheered. At the door, Maya walked him out again. The air between them felt charged, heavy with things unspoken. Maya, Evan said softly. Yeah? Thank you. For everything. She smiled and it transformed her whole face. See you tomorrow, Evan. Sunday was perfect. Warm sun, light breeze, not a cloud in the sky. They met at the park with a packed cooler and blankets. Maya had made sandwiches, cut up fruit, packed cookies. The boys ran ahead to claim a spot under a large oak tree. They spread out the blanket and ate lunch, talking and laughing. After they finished, the boys wanted to play tag. Evan joined in, chasing them around the tree while Maya watched, laughing. You're it! Noah tagged Evan and took off running. Evan chased after him, deliberately slowing down to let Noah stay ahead. Then he switched direction and went after Liam, who shrieked and ran toward Maya for protection. No fair using Mama as a shield, Evan called out. All's fair in tag, Liam shouted back. They played until they were all breathless and sweaty. Then they collapsed on the blanket in a heap, staring up at the leaves moving against the blue sky. This is the best day ever, Noah said. It really is, Maya agreed softly. Evan turned his head to look at her. She was already looking at him. Something passed between them, warm and certain. Liam sat up suddenly. Can we get ice cream? There's an ice cream truck, Noah added, pointing across the park where a white truck had just parked, its cheerful music playing. Maya checked her wallet. I don't know if... I've got it, Evan said. Come on, guys, let's get ice cream. They walked to the truck together, the boys debating flavors. Evan bought 4 ice cream cones, chocolate for Noah, vanilla for Liam, strawberry for Maya, mint chip for himself. They ate while walking back to their spot. The ice cream melted faster than they could eat it, dripping down their hands and making them laugh. Liam, trying to catch a drip, looked up at Evan and said very naturally, Thanks, Daddy. Evan froze mid-step. The boys had been calling him Dad all week, but this felt different, more intimate, more real. You're welcome, buddy, he managed. When they got back to the blanket, the boys sprawled out in the sun, tired and happy. Within minutes, both were dozing, sticky ice cream residue still on their faces. Maya and Evan sat beside each other, watching them sleep. Their shoulders touched. Neither moved away. They're good kids, Evan said quietly. The best, Maya agreed. You've been really good with them. I love them. I know that's fast to say, but it's not fast. They're your sons. Of course you love them. I love seeing them with you, Evan continued. The way you are with them. Patient and kind but firm when you need to be. You're an amazing mum, Maya. She turned to look at him, her eyes soft. You're becoming an amazing dad. They sat in silence for a moment. The world narrowed down to just them and two sleeping boys on a blanket under a tree. Can I ask you something? Maya said. Anything. What do you want from this? From us? Evan considered carefully. Honestly? Everything. I want to be their dad full time. I want to be there for every moment I possibly can. And I want, he paused, I want us to be a family. Real family, not just co-parents. That's a lot to want. I know, but I've never been more sure of anything. Maya was quiet. Then, I want that too. It scares me how much I want it. Evan reached over and took her hand. She let him, her fingers curling around his. They sat like that until the boys woke up, hands linked, the future spreading out before them like the park lawn, wide and open and full of possibility. The next week continued in the same pattern. School pickups, dinners together, bedtime stories. But there was a shift. Evan stayed later each night. Sometimes he and Maya would sit on the couch after the boys went to bed, talking for hours about everything and nothing. On Wednesday, Maya invited him to family day at the boys' school. It was an event where parents could come see their kids' classroom, meet teachers, participate in activities. Evan took the afternoon off work. He met Maya at the school, and they walked in together. Teachers smiled at them, other parents nodded hello. To everyone there, they looked like a normal family. The boys' classroom was decorated with artwork and alphabet posters. Liam and Noah showed them their desks, their cubbies, the reading corner with its beanbag chairs. This is my dad, Noah announced proudly to his teacher, Mrs. Peterson. It's wonderful to meet you, Mr. Cole, she said, shaking Evan's hand. The boys have been talking about you all week. Have they? Evan smiled. Oh yes, they're very excited to have you around. During the activity time, Evan helped the boys build structures with magnetic blocks. Other parents did the same with their kids. It was chaotic and loud and absolutely perfect. At one point, Evan looked across the room and saw Maya talking to another mother, laughing at something. She looked happy, relaxed, like this life they were building was becoming real. When the event ended, they walked out to the parking lot together. The boys ran ahead, chasing each other around the cars. That was nice, Maya said. It really was. Evan paused by her car. Maya, Evan Cole. They both turned. A woman was walking toward them, older, maybe mid-50s, with short gray hair and Evan's same blue eyes. Evan's face went pale. Mom? Karen Cole stopped a few feet away, her expression a mix of joy and uncertainty. Hi, sweetheart. Surprise. What are you doing here? You wouldn't bring them to me, so I came to you. Karen's eyes moved past Evan to the boys, who'd stopped running and were watching curiously. Her hand flew to her mouth. Oh my God, they look just like you did at that age. Mom, we talked about this. I said I'd bring them up when we were ready. I know, but I couldn't wait any longer. I'm their grandmother, Evan. I have a right to meet them. Maya stepped forward, her voice calm but firm. Mrs. Cole, I'm Maya. These are my sons, Liam and Noah. Our sons, Evan corrected softly. Karen's eyes filled with tears. They're beautiful, absolutely beautiful. The boys had walked back over, sensing something important was happening. They stood close to Maya, one on each side. Boys, Evan said, his voice tight, this is my mother, your grandmother. Hi, Noah said cautiously. Liam just stared. Hi, sweethearts, Karen said, her voice trembling. I'm so happy to meet you. Mum, Evan said, can we talk? Privately. Of course. Karen glanced at Maya. I'm sorry for ambushing you like this. I couldn't stay away. Maya nodded, understanding but clearly uncomfortable. Boys, go play on the grass over there where I can see you. They obeyed, glancing back over their shoulders at the strange new grandmother. Evan walked a few steps away with his mother, his jaw tight. Maya couldn't hear what they were saying, but she could see the tension in Evan's shoulders. After a few minutes, Karen approached Maya alone. I owe you an apology, Karen said. I shouldn't have just shown up like this. Evan told me to be patient, and I didn't listen. It's okay, Maya said, though her voice was strained. I understand. They're your grandchildren. They are. And I've missed 6 years already. Karen's voice broke. I don't want to cause problems. I just want to know them, to be part of their lives. Maya felt her chest tighten. This was happening too fast. Everything was happening too fast. First, Evan came back into her life, now his mother, and who knew who else would follow? What if it all fell apart? What if Evan couldn't handle it? What if… Maya. Karen was looking at her with concern. Are you all right? I'm fine, Maya said automatically. It's just a lot. I can imagine. Karen paused. Evan speaks very highly of you. He says you've done an amazing job with the boys on your own. I did what I had to do. That's more than many would have done. Keeping them, raising them alone, giving them Evan's name even though he wasn't there. That took courage. Maya felt tears prick her eyes. Thank you. Karen smiled gently. I know I'm probably overwhelming. I'll go, but maybe sometime soon I could take you all to dinner. Get to know my grandsons properly. Maya looked over at Evan, who was watching them both with worried eyes. Then at the boys, playing in the grass, without a care in the world. Maybe, Maya said carefully. Let us talk about it. That's all I ask. Karen squeezed Maya's arm gently. Thank you. She said goodbye to Evan with a hug, waved at the boys, and drove away. When she was gone, Evan came back to Maya. I'm so sorry. I told her to wait. It's fine, Maya said, but her voice sounded distant even to her own ears. Maya, look at me. Evan gently turned her to face him. Talk to me. What's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Your mother seems nice. But, Maya pulled away slightly, but this is all moving very fast, Evan. Your family, my family, the boys getting attached. What if… She stopped herself. What if what? She couldn't voice the fear. Not here, not now, not with the boys so close. We should go, she said instead. The boys need dinner. Something flickered in Evan's eyes, hurt maybe or worry, but he nodded. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow? Tomorrow, Maya agreed. But as she drove home with the boys chattering about their grandmother in the back seat, Maya felt the first tendrils of doubt creeping in. Evan was wonderful. He was great with the boys. But his mother had appeared out of nowhere, and who knew what other complications would follow? What if she couldn't do this? What if she'd made a mistake letting him back in? That night, after the boys were in bed, Maya sat alone on her couch and let herself cry for the first time since Evan had come back into her life. Her phone buzzed. A text from Evan. I'm sorry about today. My mum was out of line. Can we talk about it? Maya stared at the message for a long time before responding. It's fine, just need some space tonight. See you tomorrow. She knew it wasn't fine, but she didn't know how to explain the storm of emotions in her chest, so she said nothing. In his empty house, Evan read Maya's text and felt his heart sink. Something had shifted, something had broken, and he had no idea how to fix it. The next morning, Evan showed up at school pickup like always, but Maya was different. Polite but distant. She smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. The boys didn't notice at first. They ran to Evan like they always did, shouting, "Dad!" and hugging his legs. They went to the park like they always did, but when Evan suggested dinner at Maya's place, she hesitated. Actually, I think we need a quiet night tonight. The boys have been going hard all week. Oh, okay. Evan tried to hide his disappointment. Tomorrow, then? Sure, tomorrow. But tomorrow was the same. And the day after that. Maya was pulling away and Evan didn't know why. By Friday, the boys had noticed. Is Mama mad at Dad? Liam whispered to Noah during breakfast. I don't know, Noah whispered back. She seems sad. Maya overheard them from the kitchen. Her heart clenched. The boys were already getting hurt, and they weren't even broken up because they hadn't really been together in the first place. Maybe this was a mistake. Maybe she should have never gone to that hospital. Maybe… Her phone buzzed. A text from Tessa. Coffee this morning, you sound stressed. Maya agreed. She needed to talk to someone who wasn't Evan. They met at a small cafe downtown while the boys were at school. Tessa took one look at Maya's face and ordered her a large latte. Okay, spill, Tessa said. What's going on? Maya told her everything. About Evan coming back, about how good he'd been with the boys, about how fast everything was moving, about Karen showing up unexpectedly. And now I'm scared, Maya finished. What if his whole family gets involved and it becomes too much? What if Evan can't handle the pressure? What if he leaves? Has he given you any reason to think he'd leave? No, Maya admitted. But it's only been 2 weeks, Tessa, 2 weeks. People can fake anything for 2 weeks. Tessa reached across the table and took Maya's hand. Girl, I know you're scared. You've been doing this alone for 6 years. Trusting someone else with your heart and your boys, that's terrifying. But you can't push him away because of what-ifs. I'm not pushing him away. You're not? Tessa raised an eyebrow. Because from what you're describing, that's exactly what you're doing. Maya looked down at her coffee. I don't know what I'm doing. Talk to him. Be honest. Tell him what you're feeling. What if… No more what-ifs, Tessa interrupted gently. Just truth. Give him a chance to show you who he really is. Maya nodded, but the knot in her stomach didn't loosen. That afternoon, Karen called Evan. "Can I come by?" she asked. "I want to apologize properly, and maybe we can talk about how I can meet the boys without overwhelming Maya." Evan hesitated. Things with Maya were already strained, but his mother sounded genuinely apologetic, and he did need to set some boundaries. "Okay, come to my place this evening, around 6. Karen arrived right on time, carrying a grocery bag. "I brought dinner. Figured we could talk over food." They made pasta together in Evan's kitchen, falling into the familiar rhythm they'd had when he was younger. Karen had always been a good mother, warm, supportive, maybe a little overprotective. "I really am sorry about Wednesday," Karen said as she stirred the sauce. "I should have waited. I was just so excited." "I know, Mom, but Maya's been doing this alone for 6 years. She's protective, and honestly, she has every right to be cautious." Karen was quiet for a moment. "Can I ask you something? And I want you to be honest." "Sure. What are your intentions with Maya?" Evan looked up, surprised by the question. "My intentions?" "Yes. Are you with her because of the boys, or because you actually want to be with her?" "Both," Evan said without hesitation. "I love those boys more than I knew was possible, but Maya, Mom, what I feel for her is real. It was real 6 years ago, and it's real now." "I'm just worried," Karen said softly, "about you getting hurt again. What if she decides this isn't what she wants? What if she takes the boys and leaves?" "She won't do that." "How do you know? You barely know who she is anymore." 6 years is a long time. Evan set down his spoon, his jaw tightening. "I know because I've seen her with those boys. I've seen how much she loves them. She wouldn't use them as weapons. I'm not saying she would intentionally." "Mom, stop." Evan's voice was firm. "I appreciate your concern, but I need you to trust me on this. Maya is a good person, she's an amazing mother, and yes, things are complicated right now, but we're figuring it out." Karen looked like she wanted to argue but held her tongue. They finished making dinner in tense silence. What neither of them knew was that Maya had chosen that exact moment to drive by Evan's house. She'd taken Tessa's advice. She was going to talk to Evan, tell him what she was feeling, give him a chance to understand. The boys were at Tessa's for the evening. Maya had the whole night free. She pulled up to Evan's house and saw an unfamiliar car in the driveway. Through the large front window, the one that showcased Evan's open-plan living room, she could see Evan and Karen standing in the kitchen. Maya got out of her car, planning to knock on the door. But as she walked up the driveway, Karen's voice drifted through the partially open window. The evening was quiet enough that sound carried. "Just worried about you getting hurt again. What if she decides this isn't what she wants? What if she takes the boys and leaves?" Maya froze. She should walk away. She shouldn't be listening to this private conversation. But her feet wouldn't move. "She won't do that," she heard Evan say. "How do you know? You barely know who she is anymore." 6 years is a long time. Maya's heart sank. Karen thought she was a threat, thought she might take the boys and run. And maybe she was right. Maybe Maya didn't know who Evan was anymore. Maybe this was all moving too fast, and she didn't wait to hear the rest. She got back in her car and drove away, tears streaming down her face. The weekend was torture. Evan texted asking if he could see the boys. Maya made excuses, said they had plans with Tessa, said the boys needed a quiet weekend, said she wasn't feeling well. Every excuse felt like a lie because it was. By Sunday evening, the boys were asking questions. "Why didn't we see Dad this weekend?" Noah asked during dinner. "He was busy, baby." "But he's never too busy," Liam said quietly. "Did we do something wrong?" "No," Maya said quickly. "No, of course not. You didn't do anything wrong. Then why does it feel wrong?" Liam's eyes were too knowing for a 6-year-old. Maya had no answer. That night, after the boys were in bed, Liam appeared in her doorway. "Mama?" His voice was small. "What's wrong, baby? Is Daddy going away again?" The question broke her. Maya pulled Liam into her lap, holding him tight. "No, sweetheart, he's not going away." "Then why haven't we seen him?" "It's complicated, baby. That's what adults say when they don't want to tell the truth." Maya looked at her son, her smart, perceptive, too wise son, and realized he was right. She was hiding, she was scared, and she was hurting everyone in the process. "You're right," she said softly. "The truth is, I'm scared. I'm scared of getting hurt. I'm scared of you and Noah getting hurt. But that's not fair to you or your dad." "Dad wouldn't hurt us," Liam said with certainty. "He promised. He did, didn't he?" Liam nodded against her chest. "And Dad keeps his promises. After putting Liam back to bed, Maya sat on her couch and stared at her phone. She should call Evan. She should explain. But every time she tried to type a message, Karen's words echoed in her head. What if she takes the boys and leaves? Was that how they saw her? As a flight risk? As someone who couldn't be trusted? Her phone rang, startling her. Evan's name flashed on the screen. She almost didn't answer, but she thought of Liam's question, of Noah's confusion, of the promise she'd made to give this a real chance. She answered, "Hello? Maya." Evan's voice was thick with emotion. "Please talk to me. Tell me what's wrong. What changed?" "Everything's fine." "Don't do that. Don't shut me out. Did I do something wrong? Is it because of my mom?" Maya's throat tightened. "I can't do this over the phone." "Then let me come over. Please. The boys are asleep, right? We can talk on your porch." She should say no. She should protect herself. But Tessa's voice echoed. "Give him a chance to show you who he really is." "Okay," Maya whispered. "Come over." Evan arrived in 15 minutes. He must have broken several speed limits. Maya met him on the porch, the evening air cool against her skin. "Talk to me," Evan said immediately. "Please, Maya. I can't fix this if I don't know what's wrong." Maya wrapped her arms around herself. "Friday night I came to your house. I was going to talk to you about how I was feeling. But when I got there, I heard you and your mother talking through the window." Evan's face went pale. "What did you hear?" "I heard her asking about your intentions with me, asking what would happen if I decided to take the boys and leave." Maya's voice shook. "She thinks I'm a threat to you. She thinks I might hurt you or use the boys against you." "Maya, no. And maybe she's right." Maya's voice rose. "Maybe I am a flight risk. I did leave 6 years ago, even if it wasn't my fault. What if I get scared again? What if this doesn't work out and the boys get caught in the middle?" "Is that what you think?" Evan asked, stepping closer. "That you're going to run?" "I don't know what I think. Everything is happening so fast. Your mother showed up out of nowhere. Your whole family is going to want to be involved. What if it's too much? What if—" "Maya, stop." Evan took her hands gently. "Stop with the what-ifs. Look at me." She met his eyes, tears streaming down her face. "My mother was wrong," Evan said firmly. "She was speaking out of fear, not fact. She doesn't know you, but I do. And I know you would never use our sons as pawns. I know you're scared, and that's okay. I'm scared too. But running from this? That's not going to make it better. I heard her say you barely know who I am anymore. She's wrong about that too. I know you, Maya. Maybe not everything, but I know what matters. I know you're strong and stubborn and fiercely protective. I know you love our boys more than anything. I know you're scared to trust me, and I get that. But I'm asking you to try. Please." Maya wanted to believe him. She wanted it so badly it hurt. "What if your family doesn't accept us? Then that's their problem, not ours." Evan's voice was steady, certain. "But they will. My mum just needs time to understand. And if she doesn't, then she doesn't get to be part of our lives. It's that simple. You'd really choose us over your mother?" "Maya, I'm choosing you and the boys every single time, without question, without hesitation." He squeezed her hands. "I love you. I'm in love with you. I have been since before you left 6 years ago, and that feeling never went away. I love our sons. I love the family we're building, and I'm not going to let fear, mine, yours, or my mother's, destroy that." Maya's breath caught. "You love me. Of course I love you. How could I not?" She didn't have an answer. She just stood there, tears falling, heart hammering. "I need to talk to my mother," Evan said. "Right now. Tonight. I need to make it clear where I stand." "Evan, it's almost 10. I don't care. This can't wait." He cupped her face gently. "I'll be back. Wait for me." Maya nodded, not trusting her voice. Evan kissed her forehead, soft and brief, but full of promise, then walked to his truck. Maya watched him drive away, her heart in her throat. Karen answered the door in her bathrobe, surprised to see Evan. "It's late," she said. "Is everything okay?" "No, Mom, it's not." Evan walked past her into the living room. "We need to talk." Karen followed, tying her robe tighter. "Evan, what's wrong?" "Maya heard our conversation on Friday, when you asked about my intentions, when you said I barely knew her anymore. She heard you question whether she might take the boys and leave." Karen's face fell. "Oh no. She's been pulling away all week because she thinks my family won't accept her, because she thinks you see her as a threat." Evan's voice was calm but firm. "And I need you to understand something, Mom. I love Maya. I love our boys. And I'm choosing them. Every single day for the rest of my life, I'm choosing them. I never meant to. I know you're worried about me. I know you're trying to protect me, but Mom, I don't need protecting from Maya. She's not the enemy. She's the mother of my children. She's the woman I love. And if you can't accept that, if you can't support us, then you won't be part of our lives." Karen's eyes filled with tears. "Evan, please don't say that. Then tell me you understand. Tell me you'll respect the boundaries I set. Tell me you'll give Maya a chance instead of assuming the worst about her." Karen sat down heavily on the couch. "I'm afraid you'll get hurt, just like you were hurt 6 years ago. That wasn't Maya's fault. We were both victims of other people's lies, but we found our way back to each other, and now we have 2 beautiful boys who deserve to have both their parents together." Evan sat beside his mother. "I need you to trust me on this. Can you do that?" Karen was quiet for a long moment. Then she nodded. "I'm sorry. You're right. I was judging her without knowing her, and that wasn't fair." "No, it wasn't. I'll apologize to her, properly this time. And I'll respect whatever boundaries you need to set." "Thank you." Evan stood. "I need to get back. I promised Maya I'd come back." "Go," Karen said, wiping her eyes. "Go be with your family." Evan drove back to Maya's house, his heart pounding. When he pulled up, she was still sitting on the porch steps waiting. She stood as he approached. "I talked to her," Evan said. "I told her where I stand, that I'm choosing you and the boys, no matter what. That if she can't support us, she won't be part of our lives." Maya's hand flew to her mouth. "You didn't." "I did. And she apologized. She wants to apologize to you too. But Maya, I need you to hear this." He took both her hands. "I'm not going anywhere. I don't care what my mother thinks, what my friends think, what anyone thinks. You and Liam and Noah, you're my family. You're what matters." "Evan," fresh tears spilled down Maya's cheeks. "I love you," he said again, like he needed her to believe it. "I'm all in for better or worse. Through the scary parts and the hard parts and the messy parts, I'm here. I'm staying." Maya threw her arms around his neck, burying her face in his shoulder. "I love you too. I'm sorry I pulled away. I'm sorry I got scared. Don't apologize. Fear makes sense. But we can be scared together, okay? We don't have to do it alone." They held each other on the porch for a long time, the night quiet around them. Finally, Maya pulled back. "The boys are asleep, but do you want to come in? We could talk more. Maybe have some tea." Evan smiled. "I'd love that." Inside, Maya made chamomile tea while Evan sat at the small kitchen table. It felt domestic and right. When she brought the mugs over, she sat beside him instead of across from him. "Tell me about your mother," Maya said. "Really tell me. Help me understand her." So Evan did. He told her about losing his father, about how protective Karen had become afterward, about how she'd worried constantly that Evan would get hurt or make mistakes or end up alone. "She means well," Evan said, "but sometimes her fear makes her say things she shouldn't." "I understand that," Maya said quietly. "I've let fear drive too many of my choices lately." They talked until midnight, about fear and hope and the future they wanted to build, about how to blend their lives, how to include Karen without letting her overstep, how to help the boys feel secure. "I don't want to rush anything," Maya said, "but I also don't want to waste time being scared when we could be building something beautiful." "Then let's build it," Evan said, "one day at a time. Starting tomorrow. Starting right now." Maya leaned over and kissed him. It was soft and sweet and tasted like chamomile and hope. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. "I should let you sleep," Evan said reluctantly. "Or you could stay. On the couch," Maya added quickly. "The boys will be so happy to see you in the morning. And honestly, I'll sleep better knowing you're here." "You sure?" "I'm sure." Evan stayed. Maya brought him a pillow and blanket and he settled on the couch. She went to her room but left the door open, a small gesture of trust. Neither of them slept much, both too aware of the other's presence. But it was the good kind of sleeplessness, the kind that comes with anticipation instead of worry. Morning came with the sound of small feet padding down the hallway. Noah appeared first, rubbing his eyes. He saw Evan on the couch and froze. Then his face split into the biggest grin. "Dad!" he shouted, launching himself at the couch. Evan caught him, laughing. "Good morning, buddy. You're here. You stayed." Liam appeared seconds later, moving slower but smiling just as wide. "You came back." "I told you I would," Evan said, pulling Liam into the hug too. Maya emerged from her bedroom, her hair messy and eyes still sleepy. She smiled at the sight of her 3 boys tangled together on the couch. "Who wants pancakes?" she asked. "Me!" both boys shouted. They spent the morning together. Pancakes, cartoons, playing in the backyard. It was simple and ordinary and absolutely perfect. Later, when the boys were absorbed in building with their blocks, Evan helped Maya with the dishes. "This is nice," Maya said softly. "It really is." Evan dried a plate. "I could get used to mornings like this." "Me too. So what happens now? Where do we go from here?" Maya thought about it. "Forward. Together. As a family." "A family," Evan repeated, like he was testing out the word. "The Cole family. Is that what we are?" "If you'll have me, yes. That's exactly what we are." Maya smiled and reached for his hand. He took it without hesitation. In the living room, Noah looked up from his blocks. "Are Mama and Dad being mushy?" Liam peered around the corner and giggled. "Yep, they're holding hands." "Gross," Noah said, but he was grinning. "Very gross," Liam agreed happily. Later that afternoon, after Evan had gone home to shower and change, Maya gathered the boys. "How would you feel about taking a family picture?" she asked. "The four of us?" "Really?" Noah bounced with excitement. "Yes, really. I think it's time we had one." When Evan came back, she explained the idea. His eyes went bright. They set up her phone on a timer and gathered in the backyard under the oak tree. Maya and Evan stood close, the boys in front of them. After several attempts and lots of laughter, they got the perfect shot. Everyone smiling, genuine and happy. Maya had it printed that evening at a local store. When she got home, she placed it on the fridge with a magnet. Above it, she wrote on a small piece of paper, "The Cole family." The boys stared at it with wonder. "We're really a family now?" Liam asked. "We've always been a family," Maya said. "But yes, now it's official." Over the next few weeks, life settled into a new rhythm. Evan was there every day, not as a visitor, but as a father, a partner, part of the family. Karen called Maya and apologized properly. They met for coffee, just the two of them, and talked honestly. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. They agreed to take things slow to build trust gradually. One evening, about a month after that hospital reunion, Evan showed up with grocery bags. "What's this?" Maya asked. "Ingredients for a real family dinner. One I'm cooking." "You cook?" "I'm learning. Don't get your hopes up too high." He made spaghetti and meatballs, nothing fancy but edible. The boys helped set the table with their new placemats that had dinosaurs on them. Maya lit a candle in the center of the table, making it special. They sat down together, the four of them, and held hands while they said what they were grateful for. It was something Maya had started doing with the boys years ago, but having Evan there made it complete. "I'm grateful for my new toys," Noah said. "I'm grateful for art class," Liam added. "I'm grateful for second chances," Evan said, looking at Maya. "I'm grateful for family," Maya finished. They ate and laughed and made plans for the weekend. After dinner, the boys wanted to play outside before bath time. Through the kitchen window, Maya and Evan watched them chase each other around the yard. "Do you ever think about the 6 years we lost?" Maya asked quietly. "Sometimes," Evan admitted, "but then I remember that we get all the years ahead, and that's what matters." "All the years ahead," Maya repeated. "That's a long time. Good thing I'm not going anywhere." She leaned her head on his shoulder. "Good thing." As the sun set and the boys' laughter filled the air, Maya felt something she hadn't felt in 6 long years. Complete. Not because a man had come back into her life, but because she'd found the courage to let him in, to trust again, to believe in second chances. The Cole family was real, messy and imperfect and beautiful, and they were home.